Hi, I'm Julie, and this is Journey with Julie, a podcast where we slow down, sit back, and connect with real people sharing real stories. From moments of courage to laughter, motherhood, heartbreak, and hope. These are the voices that often go unheard, but not today. Thanks for listening, and welcome to the conversation. So I want to share a story today about something that happened to me last week, and I think a lot of us come across this many times, but we don't take the time to realize what's happening. I had to go to the DMV last week, and when I went in, I thought it would just be like a quick get in, get what I needed, get back out. When I pull up, I see all the cars. I thought, well, let's just give it a try. I get in line. By the time I get to the desk, they tell me I am number 331, and I will remember 331 probably for the rest of my life. So I look around. A lot of people are there. They told me probably about a 2-hour wait, but I thought, really, let's just see what happens. I'll sit down. I can do my job from my phone. I can make phone calls. I can text. I can email. I'll find me a quiet space. So I looked at the back row. There wasn't anybody sitting in a specific area, so I sat down, and there was a person probably 3 seats down, and I put my paperwork on the chair next to me, so maybe hopefully somebody wouldn't sit next to me on this, to the right side of me. To the left side of me, there was an empty seat, an empty seat, an empty seat, and then a person sitting there. So as I'm on my phone, listening for my number to be called, 331, through the corner of my eye, I see a gentleman coming to walk towards me. And I thought, in my head, I'm like, please do not sit next to me, please. So he comes and he sits not in the chair next to me, but the one next to that. So I was fine with that. I thought, okay. But little did I realize there was someone right behind him that sat next to me. And I kind of scooted over a little bit because we were kind of like touching arms, and it was a little uncomfortable. So I kind of like scoot over a little bit, and he goes, oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm like, oh, that's okay. Then he turns to me and starts a conversation, and it's just small talk to begin with, but he kept on talking, and I was thinking to myself, I really would like to get some work done. How rude would it be for me to get up right now and go find another space and start talking on my phone? But I thought to myself, Julie, just give it a little longer. Maybe, they'll stop talking and I'll be fine. I can work. So, and they're a little older than me. They're probably, I would say, 10, 15 years older than I am. So he begins talking to me and asks me what I do for a living. He noticed how tan I was. So I was like, okay, where's this conversation going? I'm like, well, I've been on the golf course. We have a boat. I boat a lot. And, I am naturally dark. Like the sun just my skin just tends to absorb the sun. It is what it is. And he keeps on talking. And so then golf, I spoke about golf. So his brother, who was on the other side of him, heard the word golf. And so he's talking over his brother to me about golf and, all these different golf courses and have I golfed him. And he golfs a lot. As a matter of fact, him and his 5 sons golf all the time, and on and on and on. And in my head, I'm thinking the whole time, okay, I think it's time for me to get up and walk away and go make phone calls on the other end of the room. But I still didn't want to be rude. I'm like, well, maybe they just need a listening ear today. Like these 2 brothers just got back from a movie together and just want someone to talk to. So I continue to listen to them, and we're talking, and then the brother that's sitting right next to me gets up to go look at the numbers because it was hard for us to see. And he'd asked me the same question twice. He'd asked me what I did for a living 2 times, which I just thought, oh, he just wasn't paying attention. But when he got up to look at the number, the other brother leans into me and says, hey, just so you know, he has the beginning stages of dementia. So if he asks you the same question more than once, you know why. And I thought, oh, okay, like, not a big deal. So then, of course, I'm like, I really am not going to get up and walk away now. Like, I'm just going to talk to these men. And so the conversation progresses, and we're just talking small talk. And it's an hour's passed by at this point, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, am I ever going to get up there? Maybe I should just leave. So The brother that was sitting next to me is very kind, and every time someone walks out the door that needs help, I am noticing that he's getting up to let them out, to hold the door for them. Someone was in a wheelchair. There was somebody that could barely walk. I thought, well, he's a kind man, very kind man. So the other brother wanted to talk more about sports. So he gets up from his seat and sits directly next to me. And at this point, we're getting closer to 3:31. So I'm like, okay, we don't have much more time to talk. And he's talking about, and I've noticed at this point, he did have a wedding ring on his finger. So I'm like, okay, he's a married man and he's got his 5 kids and he's retired and he golfs a lot. And it sounds like he's helping take care of his brother and just super nice people. And he begins to tell me about when COVID took place in 2021, that he got COVID really bad and he was in the hospital, and unfortunately he lost his wife in September, I believe he said 12th, 2021. And at this point, we're really close to my number being called. It's probably 3:28, and I really wanted to hear his story. So I kept thinking, I want him to talk faster so I didn't have to be rude, because I really wanted to hear it. And I asked him, now wait, because that date, of course, is 2021, is a year that my family will never forget. And I asked him, wait, what was the date again? And he said September 12th. And I always have to remind myself, and I have this date tattooed on my wrist. So I look down at my wrist and I show it to him. And I go, September 24th, 2021. And he looks at me and goes, what? And I go, our lives were changed drastically. And I told him about my son, Gavin, and how he was in an unfortunate accident. And he was left quadriplegic, and he's now in a wheelchair. And I tried telling him as fast as I can the story, and that I understood his pain about being in the hospital during COVID time, that Gavin could only have 2 visitors a day, and it had to be the same 2 visitors, and how hard that was on all of us, his family and friends, and especially for Gavin, you know. So it was mainly me and my husband that would be at the hospital with him. And him and his brother were just so in tune to what I was saying. And then next thing you know, they say 3:31. So we say our goodbyes, we shake each other's hands, and there, you know, we say goodbye. And I go up to do what I needed to do. And after I left the DMV, I started thinking about that conversation and how I was like, at the beginning, didn't want to extend my kindness and visit. I wanted to work. Then the more they spoke, I thought, okay, I'm just going to stop and listen and have a conversation with these men. Maybe I'll help make their day better. But in the end, after I got to share a little bit of my story and connect with them, I think it helped me actually more than it helped them. You know, we come across, all of us, I know we all do. I think about certain times in my life where I didn't stop to be present. And I know it's not always, we always can't. But the connections that we can make with people, and we're not even realizing we're making the connection until afterwards, when we look back and think, why did that conversation even take place? Or why did they even sit by me, of all people, in that entire room? They came and sat right next to me. So there's my thought for the day, connecting with people, and let's be more present. You know, I'm going to make it a goal in my life to be more present, even for strangers, because we don't know what any of us are going through. So thanks for listening.